outside and it's packed.
I'm telling you straight. It's my way or the highway. So anybody wants to walk, do it now.
Oh, yes. Is the audio working? Come on, everybody. Oh, I've got to open. Discord, that cord, some cord. I don't know. Thing a rolling. There we go. Now we're getting it together. All right. Let's see. Does everything work? Yeah, it does. Hold on a second. Sorry. Hi. There we go. Welcome to the show, everybody. Hello. Tara Dublin Rocks will be joining us in the second hour. We're free-balling it right out of the gate, though, if I may say, simply because the major is in an undisclosed location. I'm sure he's disclosing it to someone else, and I'm sure it's been disclosed to me at some point, but I forgot what it was, so it's undisclosed to you because I'm not authorized to disclose it by my memory. I want to say he's on vacation. So there you go. Welcome. Hello. How are you? Hi, chat room. Glad you could be here. What's happening? He's in Puerto Rico. That's very nice. I've been to Puerto Rico. They have very nice forts. I'm just saying. As somebody who's from Frankfort, Frank's Fort, literally in Kentucky, I appreciate a good fort. And I know what you're thinking. Hal, go fort yourself. I get it. All right. Okay. I have not been raptured. Oh, wait. Yes, I have. Hold on. This is my rapture ready image. Hold on. I was see if I could fade in. Oh, crap. I was supposed to have a halo on when that happened. I guess it fell. Don't. I was gonna have a pair of shoes, but the image wouldn't come up. And it would look a little weird. If I was gonna have like a pair of shoes just sitting right here, um, and I really, honestly, I kind of want to. I gotta tell you, I kind of want to put a pair of shoes, like women's shoes, and a dress outside my place, and then post online from like a fake account. Oh my God! Praise the Lord and pass the mashed potatoes. My trans neighbor has been raptured. What am I to think? My neighbor's a drag queen, and they must have been. Oh Lord, my goodness, that is a sight. He's still on the rise. Bye. I'm sorry. That's right. Anyways, I mean, obviously, I misgender people. That's why I'm still down here. Um, so I also don't know. Please hit that like and let people know we're here and live, because I honestly, would you know if you were raptured? You know what I mean? Would you know? Would you, beyond the metaphor of a rapture in and of itself, would you be aware that you would raptured, or even that your previous life it'd be a little traumatic, I think, to go, yeah, it was, rough. Things were a little weird on occasion. And then all of a sudden I was naked and I was floating a little, which was weird. I was kind of drifting and just, it was uncomfortable. I wish I'd primed myself. You know what I mean? That I had gone, like, maybe had like gone to a nudist colony or a swingers party and just roamed around just to get used to the idea. Because I swear to God, I mean, I hear, and I have not gotten information, but I understand that eventually our crotch clouds will roll in, and that will just kind of, it may look like we have dick smoke. You know what I mean? It's just around us all the time. Can you guys hear me, or am I talking to myself? I don't know. Anyways, how sound and audio is funky. All right, well, that's good to know. Well, let's see what's happening here. Turn that off and back on. Turn this back on. Let's see if I sound like shit to myself. I guess not. Not even let me do it. Check it to check. Am I overmodulated? Is that the problem? Is there a something? Am I doubling up? Oh, why am I in there? I know why. That's what it is. That's what it was. Sorry. Remember yesterday when everything was taking a giant shit? It was because the other thing was, hey, is that better? It should be better in a second. I'll wait. Yesterday when everything was taking a giant duke, as it were. Little staticky rapture. You got it? Is it better? Okay, yeah, there we go. Yeah, so yesterday when I was trying to fix the audio on the fly, when I brought Boston Brian back in, I actually created a new audio source altogether just so we could be heard. And I think it's all right. Now that's the thing, is I've got to remove it. So I will remove it so it won't sneak up on me again. Apologies. All right. Well, Saturday, when I fixed it, Saturday was the thing. Yesterday I was in the garage all day. So, and not because I was being punished. Fuck you. I was not sent to the garage like it's the doghouse. I was being very organizational. Finally, I was very proud of myself. I built an entire one of those giant metal Guardian garage shelves. You know, the things that, like, they look, all the pieces are light, but the whole thing together is ridiculously heavy. You know what I'm talking about? And they kind of, snap together, but you have to bang them into place. And if they're warbly at all, they won't work. Like if the little hinge points don't lock, you just, yeah. Anyways, yeah. So I was out there banging away. What? I was out there banging away in the garage, and yes. It was not man cave. No, it was not man cave furniture. No. I'm working on that. That's coming. That's going to be one of my sexy liberal gifts to myself. That if there is any profit to be seen whatsoever in the sexy liberal shows, which I'm hoping. Minneapolis next weekend. We'll see you. Please come out, because I need more storage in my home, and that's what I'm going to buy myself when I say I'm saving up for it. But but that was actually for Summer's Christmas decorations, which are giant, large tubs, and there's a tree that goes back in the box every year, and she wants to be able to get to it all year round. So anyways, I built a shelf for it, put it together, constructed, I wouldn't say built, and constructed it and then reorganized that whole section, which was a frightening hellscape, I gotta say. As garage areas go, it was the place where you're like, wow, if I had to exit through here in a fire, I would just burn. I would just burn to death. I would just die. So, yes. Now, I don't know if you guys, who still is on the shitter? The formerly known as Twitter, not currently watching the show on the can. Although, if they are, hi. I hope it's a smooth move. Coffee? I don't know what'll help you. But, yeah. Rapture comes in and says, the doghouse. Thanks, Paul Thanos. Thanks a lot. Yeah. So, yeah, organization of the garage is always a shit show. It is true. And, but I was out there for a good long while and I felt very accomplished at the end of it. I really, really did. Felt good. It was like, I did something. And I arranged 3 other shelves at the same time. Like I took the crappy old shelves and I used them as mid shelves for other stuff. And in a we have to go through this and throw stuff out area. Yeah. And then I put the stuff that's supposed to go where it's supposed to go, where on the supposed to go shelf. Right? That's what I do. There's a round to it and there's a supposed to go. Supposed to go is the direction you mail stuff. I don't know, whatever. Anyways, I want to bring something up. I got crafty this morning too, if I may. Let's see, it was in my politics thing. It was in my notes. But anyways, I posted 2 pictures on Twitter because something was bothering me, as it does. I have a tendency to, quite frankly, I have a tendency to just rabbit hole certain things. That should be abundantly clear at this point. Yes? Okay. And if I may, I found it, well, quit that. Get out of there, you silly thing. I found it very curious. And I have mentioned this before, ladies and germs. I found it incredibly curious. Quit. Get out of the way. I'm doing a thing. Trying to get something to come up on the screen so I can show you guys in a reasonable way. Here you go. Let's see. Well, let's see if this will show well enough. Maybe not. Oh, I got to shrink it down some. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is a picture I took. I went to Google Earth, and I'll shrink this down. Maybe that'll do it. Nope, you gotta do it. No, that won't do it. Shrink down, you silly thing, you silly doggy. So this is Jeffrey Epstein's house right here. Right, that's in West Palm Beach. And this is Mar-a-Lago. 1.4 miles apart, a 4-minute cab ride. Now, you guys know I hate to be wrong. Not because I'm ashamed. Everybody's wrong sometimes. But I don't like being wrong because I don't like wasting your time. And I know most of you will go, Hal, it's very minor. This is a very minor thing. This is very small, but it matters. I have been saying, a 20-minute cab ride a couple of times, and then I've said 10-minute cab ride a couple of times. That Donald Trump always seems to be, a 20-minute cab ride from Jeffrey Epstein's house. Well, I finally did the fucking math because it was bothering me. I went and looked it up and did the measurements and made this little thing. Jeffrey Epstein's house, you could walk it. It's a 4-minute fucking car ride. That's according to Google Map today. Google Maps this morning. 1.4 miles apart. That's Mar-a-Lago. There's Mar-a-Lago. And then there's this Jeffrey Epstein's West Palm Beach house. Now, keep in mind, Donald Trump still wishes Ghislaine Maxwell well. For all this bullshit about I distanced myself, I didn't like Jeffrey Epstein anymore, and I got mad at him. We've talked about how his, the myth that somehow he hated him because he tried to hit on a girl at the thing. That whole story is fucking horseshit. It was over the house that he sold to that Russian oligarch, the guy, for $90 million because Epstein wanted it too. And in the back and forth of the bidding, it cost Trump $10 million more dollars to buy the fucking place in the bid up. That's why he was mad at him. They never spoke again after that. It had fucking nothing to do with it. Okay, now, it's a $40 Uber, right. Now, wait. That 1.4 miles apart in West Palm Beach. That's pretty short. Okay, here's Jeffrey Epstein's New York mansion. This is on Brillo Street or something like that. 9 East 71st Street. Brillo's is the street that he's on in West Palm. This is 9 East 71st Street. This is the house that Jeffrey Epstein got. It's a $70 million house that Jeffrey Epstein got and for free. A guy gave it to him for free. He transferred it to him for $1. Yeah, but for free. Check this out. Here is Trump Tower. It's closer than even the West Palm Beach properties. It's a 7-minute drive. It's less than a mile away. Now, here's the thing, motherfucker. Here's the thing. I'm sure there's some sort of weird way I could get, AI to answer this question for me, or somebody in the chat will want to throw it in there if you feel like it. But for fuck's sake, there are 340 million people in this country. They live way across the world. You have people like Harrison Ford who have houses in Wyoming. That's their main house, even if they have other places. There are rich people that have houses on either coast, but one they prefer, that they always spend time at. But there are only two places Donald Trump has called home in his adult life: Trump Tower and Mar-a-Lago. That's it. He stays at his other places. They're not his homes. Bedminster is not his home. He doesn't even pretend. He buys fucking houses up in upstate New York and leverages the shit out of them. Never sets foot in the fucking thing. And so I find it incredibly hinky that, rich people, by the way, Epstein has multiple homes that he spent a lot of time at. His two primary residences were New York and West Palm, but he has other homes. Trump doesn't. So, in the narrow casting of where you're going to live, Trump is the guy who moved in next to Epstein everywhere, or spent time in that circle and only that circle. So, anyways, I just wanted to point that out because it was driving me crazy, and I posted it earlier. Now, there was another thing that I got. Yeah, it's this thing, this little lovely thing right here. Now, let me see if I can, I'll see if I can make this one a little bit larger. But this, ladies and gentlemen, is Donald Trump's statement of financial condition. And what do we keep hearing? So, chat room, work with me on this one. This is one of my favorites. I'm just curious. What's the big story about Biden and LLCs? How many LLCs do the Biden friends, family, associates, everybody around them? 20 LLCs, right? 22. We don't know these LLCs, right? But they're LLCs. Yep. 20. That's the number, right? Approximately. Yeah. I've heard that number a bunch of times, 150. Nope. It's a fuzz, Brian. You're giving them way too much credit. It's been like 20 to 25 is the idea. 20, you keep hearing that number bandied about. And it's not just, by the way, these aren't the 3 that Hunter has or the 2 that Joe has with the trust for the family trust, and it's not his brother's company and how they own their property, or he and his wife do it. Like, I mean, it's fucking Delaware. Everybody has a corporation. In Delaware, it's almost what the state's known for. It's like you get one at birth. Congratulations. Wah, it's a corporation. That's what Delaware is for, right? Okay. Let me show you something. This is just the paperwork for Donald Trump's statement of financial condition that he put out in 2015. See all these little lines that look like bank entries? You see those? See those things? Maybe we could. Let's see if I could blow this thing up. I'll download it and then we'll move it. Yeah, hold on 1 second. Here you go. This is Trump's stuff. Okay, And then we'll go to here. And let me just open it bigger because I have to be able to like zoom in on it for you. There you go. This is all the crap that I end up downloading all the time. Downloads. There we go. And we'll open this guy. There it is. Look at this big thing. Hey, that's much better. So see this? Review for apparent compliance with the Federal Election Campaign Act. This is what he put in. United States government ethics. They received it he filled it out on the 2015. Now, if I may, see all these little lines, these single lines that look like I don't know, fucking financial look like ledger entries for dollar amounts. They're not. They're entire companies. And the vast majority of them are LLCs. You'll notice this. Like, start with the corporations, so the bigger ones. Look at the LLC, corporation, partnership. This is a. We'll get into what they are initially too. LLC. There's big runs of these LLCs, corporation, and I love the ones where Donald Trump is president, treasurer, director, whole company. That's all him. That's all. What would that one be? Let's just jump back over here. This is the TNGC Charlotte Manager Corp. Okay, so Trump National Golf Course Manager Corporation. So he is the officer, treasurer, president of TNGC Management Group. Just that. And then there's TNGC Charlotte LLC. And then there's the Manager Corp. So a lot of times, how Trump's shit was set up is he would have these partnerships that are LLCs. Because, I don't think any of us are surprised at the ones that are either labeled Trump, this is Trump Hospitality Corporation. This is a lot of what they do overseas. So you see a lot of foreign ones. And by the way, see all these ones that say New York on them? These are the ones that are going away because of the filing, because of what he lost in fraud court. Yeah. Look at the sheer volume of these fucking things. Ace Entertainment Holdings, Inc., also known as Trump Casino Incorporated, formerly Trump Taj Mahal. They changed the name to Ace after they fell apart. By the way, he's the chairman and the treasurer of that one. Check that out. Atlantic City, New Jersey, corporation, chairman / treasurer. That's Donald Trump's job in Trump Taj Mahal and Trump casinos, and now Ace Entertainment Holdings. Fuck you. He's an ace at bankrupting casinos. So there you go. All right. Now, he has a lot of LLCs based on singular apartments, but he does this thing. This is the thing that stood out to me about all this. Now, like I said, there's the Trump, all the Trumpity Trump ones, and there's the structure on all these is very similar. They've got the scam down. What they do is they buy into this building or get debt from sketchy fucking places. And then he's like a 1% partner in those businesses, but they supply the money. He's the president, but he owns 1% of this enormous debt company. Whatever, Trump Tower, Chicago, any of these fucking places. And then he's 100% management. So he manages the property. The Trump organization runs the property. So, but like I said, they haven't built shit in years. He just slaps his name on stuff. And he basically, this is money laundering. This is a fucking giant money laundering machine. It's crazy. And they do it over and over. Everything, and I'm sure if they fucking sat Weisselberg down on this, there's like a run of plays because it's always the same. Each building has a similar structure of that he's got a part of, and then there's like the development LLC, managing member 2 LLC, marketing and sales LLC, member LLC, member 2 LLC, and then Vegas Sales and Marketing Incorporated. And then that's the Trump Tower Hotel and Unit Owners Association. So all of, basically we're going to find out as they start to dismantle his shit that he's just managing oligarch money from overseas. None of this is his. All of these properties are owned by the sketchiest, most dangerous, fucked up people in the world. And this motherfucker they pay him a stipend and cover his ass so he can pretend he owns these things, so he can move in circles and manipulate people in the American public. And then he can, they'll give him the illusion of being wealthy. And then he gets, a small slice off the top. That's the cash that he operates with. He doesn't have any of this shit. And every building has this same fucking bullshit structure. And I don't want to fucking hear anything about this. There's more than 20 LLCs on this fucking page. He's got what? He's got one of the six LLCs just in Las Vegas for one property. One property, 6 LLCs, but he's probably, he does different things in each one, right? He probably does something different in it. No. He's the director, president, president, member, president, member, president, member, member, president, member, president. So they set up their own, basically, so he's a Las Vegas member LLC, of which he's a member. I'm going to guess the only member. Right? This shit is crazy. There's and that what brought me to this was the Chicago property. So there's a Chicago property called like the Trump Tower Chicago. It has the company that owns a chunk of Trump's debt is called It's called Chicago Units Acquisition, which sounds like they're cock collecting, but whatever. In Chicago. So if you're in Chicago and you see a Trump walking by, cover your crotch. They're collecting units. They're acquiring units. And so what do we know about Chicago Units Acquisition? What do we know about that? By the way, and can I just say, Trump marks Dubai, Trump marks Egypt, Trump marks Egypt LLC, Trump marks Fine Foods LLC, Trump marks Fine Foods Member Corp., Trump marks Fort Lauderdale. These are all trademark companies where he forms trademark companies in all these places. Trump marks Philippines. Trump marks Products. Trump marks Products Member Corp. So they justify their trademarks by filling out these things. But they're all run out of New York. And they hopscotch. So one's a corporation, next one's an LLC. There's one for each. The LLC holds the money and never has to show a profit or be anything ever. And then the corporations just like rubber stamp every year. Nope, didn't make any money. Didn't make me any money. Right? Okay. So, it's not surprising though that he has all these Trump named ones. Those aren't going to be the ones that anybody's going to be surprised. Although I think he does most of his sketchy shit right out in the open. Right? Asia LLC, right. China money. Tons of that stuff. Okay. Then there's VHPS, VH Property Services LLC, which is VH Property Corp. Unit 2502 Enterprise LLC, Unit 2502 Enterprise Corp. That's in Chicago. That's his, office or apartment in that place. So there's a corporation for the space they own or operate or have, so that they can lose money on their office, which is a business in and of itself, their space, in theory, and never have to pay anybody for it. Like, it's so fucking weird. All right. Anyways, tons of this stuff. White Plains, TW Ventures, anything with a T on it, you're like, of course. Right? Now, here's the other thing. This is weird. 4 Shadow Tree Lane, LLC. Underlying assets. Bank account. Location, Westchester. See attached schedule. 40 Wall Street. Assets. Commercial real estate. Okay, that we understand. It's commercial real estate. Yeah, it's just a bank account. How about Mez Venture LLC? That's just a bank account in Chicago. How about 401 Wabash residential commercial real estate? That makes sense. Underlying asset, residential. And by the way, these are LLCs. He's a partner in. God knows who his partners are. That's the other thing about LLCs. Totally opaque. And these are where most of his assets are listed under these LLCs. They're not incorporated. This one will be slightly different. Asset, residential real estate, 809 North Cannon Member Corporation, because it's like a HOA setup or something. On and on. And we'll look at this page. Okay, DJT Aerospace LLC for his aircraft. So he's got his own airline for just his plane. And here's Mr. Super Rich. Here's the value of these things: $1 million to $5 million, $1 million to $5 million, $5 million to $25 million. Income, interest rate, interest. $1,001 to $15,000. This is like we're over $50 million rent, that kind of stuff. And look at the vast majority of the things that he has, like income, none or less than $201. None or less than $201. $100,001 to $1 million, vaguely. $50,000 to $100,000, none. $1 million to $5 million. That's pretty broad for a $50 million. You get rent on a $50 million project. It's somewhere between 1 and 5. That makes sense, right? I mean, look, who am I? The guy's a blue collar man of the people. I don't understand this stuff. What the fuck do I know? I grew up in fucking Kentucky. He must have learned all this in shop class. So yeah, this income amount: $100,000 to $1 million, $50,000 to $100,000, $100,000 to $1 million, $100,001 to $1 million. It's the same shit. It's a rubber stamp. This is the generalized amount of money I have coming in. Now, let's just say you have a property. Let's just take this one for example. And he's got this listed under royalties for his trademarks. Same general zone of making money. And let's just say you have a business that makes $100,000 a year. It's your little side business. It's your little Etsy hustle, right? You make $100,000 a year. And that's great. And you're like, holy shit, I can't believe my luck. And then you get elected to public office. Just for the record. You become, I don't know, comptroller of the state or governor, something like that. And then your little Etsy business all of a sudden goes from $100,000 business to $1 million. Now, that jump alone would seem kind of concerning, wouldn't you think? Now, if you made you really did have receipts for $1 million for the year, whatever I'm sure there's an attachment. Is there a C attachment? Do we have a C attachment? License value not readily ascertainable. See attached schedule. This is the attached schedule, by the way. Wouldn't you think that kind of... Oh, wait. Let's see. THC China development. So I guess he was growing pot he was selling edibles in China. See attached schedule. What is that? $100,000 to $250,000 value. Weird. Just none or no income, but it's worth about $250,000. I don't know of anything that doesn't bring you any income that's... I mean, I guess if you're saying my trademarks don't bring me anything, but that's the value of the brand, as it were. Okay. THC Sales and Marketing, as Don Jr. probably runs this one. 61 East Street Company, LP. Residential real estate. What is that? That's number 199 on the attached schedule. By God, that's worth $1 million to $5 million. But it's no income. Now, this other place, look at this. The Trump Corporation. That seems like a big thing. There we go. There would be the business, wouldn't you say? A $1 billion business, multi-billion dollars, billions of billions, billions of billions. The Trump Corporation, I mean, that's the shit for them. Let's see what that... So, its value is over $50 million. Well, I mean, in his defense, $9 billion is more than $50 million, sure. What is it? His income? Management and related fees. He made $5 million. $5,114,000 and 63 fucking cents. You cheap son of a bitch. Also, it's worth over 50 million. Your management and related fees. You charge your company fees to be the guy. It's a family bit. 5 million. 5 million. That's your income. He makes 5 million a year from the Trump organization. So, not even the plurality of money that goes into his account comes from the Trump Corporation. Truth Social is what? 36. Oh, fucking glorious. We'll get to that in a second. You'll understand where I'm going with this. Now, why is this kind of important to the conversation about Truth Social and all this shit? I'll tell you why. Because one of the things that Trump has hated since he became president, why, he's the first person to truly, without being assassinated, shit the bed in terms of, your luck changing after you become president. Trump just wanted to, he wanted all the power, but none of the responsibility. That's how he's always done this shit. And that's what happened when he became president. He wants all the power of the presidency, but he doesn't want any of the checks and balances. And he certainly doesn't want any of the responsibility and the openness and awareness that people want from their elected officials. And so I'm sure it was a bit of a shock. That's what he was like. He managed to fend off the taxes shit his entire time, because if you get a look at this kind of stuff, it gets more embarrassing, because you can go, this is all inflated bullshit or very sketchy to start with. And also, the number of businesses he has that bring in nothing and yet are still around is super fucking weird. Now, here you go. Golf resort and related revenues. Trump National Doral. $49 million. Now, that's company revenue. That's the Trump organization. There is no fucking way Doral is paying him income of $49 million a year. Think of giant corporate CEOs. Think of them right now. Companies, shit you have in your pocket or in front of you, fucking your phone, your car, like whatever. The CEO of the company that's responsible for your fucking car existing is not making $49 million a year in most cases. Fuck, if this is the case, why wouldn't you? I mean, you don't have any expenses, in theory. Why wouldn't he have bought fucking Twitter if he's making $49 million a year? That is no, yeah. Bronson Brian, I don't know that it's a bonus. I think it's more like a golden parachute for some. But no company is giving their fucking CEO $49 million for a fucking golf course. What are you talking about? That is more than likely, in theory, all the money that allegedly came into that club in the year. That's all the revenue for the club. Now, I would argue that's horseshit as well. The idea that they're churning out $49 million, unless they had a contract, maybe that's the live money, but that didn't come till later. Maybe the Saudis were throwing them, were throwing lavish parties, which is entirely possible. We want to look at the Mar-a-Lago place as well. Yeah, golf acquisitions, Trump Ice LLC fucking incorporates the ice machines at Mar-a-Lago. No, but International Golf Link Scotland, International Golf Club Florida. What's his? How does he make it? $12 million for that one, for Trump International Golf Club Florida. No. This is what you would talk like in terms of bullshit. This is not his income. This is the entire property's income, but it's not his. No matter what. It's fucking silly. And if Jesus, if this is the only way this could be true. Yeah, I agree, Boston Brian. I think he's just laundering money. This is what they just kick money in and say, we threw a lavish party. How much was the party? $30 million. Really? Yeah. Everybody ate gold and shit it out. And then we had women in dog collars that would find the gold in your shit. It was a party. It was great. These guys love it. It was very expensive. Nobody will do that on the cheap. Except Devin Nunes. Anyways, the idea, though, that this motherfucker is getting this, or that any of these golf courses are turning a fucking profit. I mean, because that's the other thing. They're all underwater. There's no fucking way. Trump marks menswear. Peerless Clothing International. Oh my God, fuck you. The name of his fucking clothing company is Peerless. I don't have peers. I can't have a jury. I'm too good for you people. None of you are. You can tell by my dickhead, super long dog penis tie that weirdly is below my zipper in an odd way, like I'm a pull toy from the 1930s. I have no peers. Peerless. Shut the fuck up. Rock parcel. There you go. Okay, parcels of land. There you go. Trump marks Soho LLC. Sketchy as fuck. That's it. There you go. Bayrock and Sapir Organization. Listed in 2015, folks. How do you not like that? Shit. Okay, so those of you that don't know, his partner at Bayrock, one of them has just been arrested for running a floating brothel on an old super yacht that entailed the use of children. Yes, children. Also referred to as underage women, which is children, which is also forced labor, which is because they can't consent, which is also slavery. Like, how many fucking sex slavers is Donald Trump in actual business with? This motherfucker. Right, CSL, I know. Just, whew. Anyways, Waikiki and Westchester, he's got one of these properties, and they're all stacked on this, and he's all got the same fucking, but all these LLCs and this China money, the LLCs and the China money, it can't make a fucking dent in all this. Is that Wolfman Rink? Or that's Woolman Rink Operations, LLC. That was Wolfman. I was like, hey, man, that's Wolfman Rink Operations. Yeah, DT Marks. Okay, so Chicago residential man. This is the other thing, too. Here's the beginning of the Chicago company setup that he has. Now, for those that you don't know, chat room, you guys may remember, I went over a little while ago the fact that Donald Trump, while, Eric was going, we never missed a loan. This is unbelievable. We've never even been late on anything. Okay, yeah, they were. They were totally delinquent on $380 million worth of, that was Spicy Dragon. Yeah, the ice rink. He defaulted on $330 million of loans to Deutsche Bank and these other investors in the Chicago Trump Tower. And he sued Deutsche Bank for predatory lending practices, acting like they're a fucking payday lender. And they were able to find other financing that allowed them to forgive his loans. Now, this other company that he was in business with, that was one of the other investors in it, he owed them something like $140 million. And they, very nice of them, very nice. They forgave the loan, but $48 million worth of it. So they went it from 125, something like that, to $48 million. He had to pay him, he owed him $48 million. And when you do that, when something like that happens to you, you got a $150 million loan, 2/3 of it go away, you owe taxes on that, right? Because that's free money. You just got $100,000, and you'll owe, as a windfall, you'll owe 39% on that shit. It's like winning the lottery. It's like winning $100 million in the lottery. you owe taxes on it. So what does Donald Trump do? Donald Trump sets up a company called Chicago Units Acquisition. And Chicago Units, now what does Chicago Units Acquisition do? Well, clearly they, hold on, let me see if I can bring this up. Clearly they acquire units. How? That's, what else could, I mean, of course, that's what they do. They acquire units. They have units that they have acquired, and those units are acquired. And they keep acquiring units until the acquiring unit's done. So Chicago Units Acquisition is a company that, hold on, let me see this. There's several articles on this, but I'll show you the main ones. Like, remember how they flagged all these suspicious activity reports, and were flagging. They're just flagging the heck out of this flaggy stuff. So remember when they were flagged. Oh, they're getting flagged. Okay, well, ladies and gentlemen, the let's see if I can bring it. Yeah, okay. So Trump owes taxes on $100 million. $100 million. He wins the lottery for $100 million, and he owes taxes on that as a windfall, right? Check out, Boss Brian wants you to check out the Bartiromo interview. I will do that this afternoon. I will also do his weird abortion video this afternoon because we're going to cover that. And Vatera's going to be on with us in just a moment. But I want to get to this real quick. Just so we can be clarified. Remember this, just to help you process. Donald Trump won the lottery. He won $100 million. And you got to pay taxes on that. That's how the lottery works. And you're like, well, shit. I got to pay $50 million on $100 million or $39 million on it. But I get to keep the rest. That's fucking amazing. I mean, it'd be nice to have 61, to have 100 million instead of 61 million, but fuck, I got $61 million, wow, in property and cash that I could even say, I can write it off my books. I could even, if I'm trying to get another loan, I'm like, hey, by the way, I have $100 million, but I only have 61 of it in cash, but I paid cash. It's cool. You can do that. All right, now, so, real quick, chat room. Does anybody think this motherfucker paid taxes on that $100 million? Anybody? Anybody? Does anybody think this motherfucker paid a penny in taxes on that money? On that? Okay, no. Now, how did he get around it? What did he do? Well, one of the things you could do is like, well, yeah, I got $100 million. But I'm $120 million in debt. So my company got 100. Yes, Your Honor. My company did take in $100 million. But we're $150 million in debt. So I don't really get, my business really, not only did not make anything, I'm operating at a loss. Sound familiar? Like how he does everything? Okay, so how did that happen? Well, apparently it happened, so far from what we can tell, because it's opaque as fuck, is that Trump paid, he started a company. He started a company, it's his, called Chicago Units Acquisition. And then that company loaned him $50 million. Where did that company get $50 million to loan? From a piece of paper. Because it says it has $50 million, and he says it gave me $50 million, and I'm going to spend it like it has $50 million, and that's that. And I'm not going to actually have the $50 million, actually. I'm just going to write off on my taxes that I owe that company $50 million. That $50 million is not floating around in my system at all. It's not being used for anything. It just exists as a debt on paper to a company whose $50 million exists as a debt on paper. And so Donald Trump created a fake liability from a company with no money that he owes $50 million that it absolutely did not loan him. And he lists it as a liability in his net worth to offset the taxes he would pay on the Chicago windfall of $100 million. And we only know about the line item of the 50 million on it. We don't know if he just fucking kept doing it. Because he's not listing all of his shit. He just listed the stuff in that paper I was showing you as the stuff that was germane to sort of the situation. Like, this is the stuff you guys deserve to know about. Holy fuck. Also, if I may, some of you are going, like only in America? No, because Deutsche Bank does this shit all the fucking time. It was the bank of choice. Hey, you know who loaned Donald Trump? Motherfucker. You know who loaned? I've got to fucking. Anybody know when Donald Trump owned the private equity branch or whatever of Deutsche Bank, a bunch of money, and he got a new loan to cover that loan around the Chicago Tower. Do you know who? And because he just sued Deutsche Bank for $3 billion. They just had to forgive $270 million of his other loan. You know where he got the money to even pay what he did owe to Deutsche Bank? You're going to love this. He got it from Deutsche Bank. Yeah. The commercial real estate arm of Deutsche Bank loaned him the money to pay the other arm of Deutsche Bank. What? 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 What is that? What the fuck? It's hinky as fuck. Who's responsible? No one. Apparently, Deutsche Bank had the privilege of loaning themselves the money to let Donald Trump put his name on a building that they own twice. What the hell? And that's the essence of the story. Like, fuck all the other shit about him. Like, that alone is mind-blowingly awful. Somebody at the fucking 5 explain that isn't Jessica. Jessica, you can't do this. Anybody but Jessica on the 5. Explain this shit to me. Explain this shit, how you're okay with this shit. What in the fuck is that? I got up talk about falling down a fucking rabbit hole on this shit. By the way, I hear our Tara Dublin is in the background. She's operating back there, I think. We will bring her in just 1 second. I don't see her, but I do hear her. But sometimes that's a thing with my setup these days. I don't know what's going on with my little delivery system. I think we're being attacked by the deep state, obviously. Pop her in, see if she pops in. There you go. I don't see her yet, but she'll be with us in just 1 moment, I hope. But like this one fucking thing. Like, all this fucking digging around and all the talk about, well, we're up to our eyeballs in evidence and right? That shit. We got so much evidence. Like, it's obvious to everybody. Joe Biden's corrupt and criminally and corrupt. Just this one fucking thing alone should totally disqualify Trump from being even considered by the Republican Party, much less the American people. Good Lord. What is wrong with you folks that are like those voters? Never mind the fucking pussy grabbing and all that kind of shit. I don't give a shit if you write that stuff off because you're a total pig and you're like, yeah, bitches will say anything because you're rich and famous or whatever. Fine, write that off. Put that aside. Tell yourself that fucking story. But what the fuck is going on here? Never mind the fact that I also showed everybody the Deutsche Bank is like in deep shit. Hold on one second. Let me flop back over to here. If you just like literally, hold on, bank, right about this time when all this shit is happening, yeah, there you go. There's one thing. Let me open this guy up. I don't see Tara. I see that you're maybe online, but I don't see or hear you. So you're not muted. Let's see. Video settings. Do I dare? Oh, she went away and she'll come back. Okay, good. All right. Yeah. Yeah, there you go. This was last year. This was last year. German institution was faulted for failing to put in place anti-money laundering controls in relation to an Estonian bank branch. You think? Federal Reserve is finding Deutsche Bank $186 million for unsafe and unsound practices. You think? There she is. Hey, I see her. Okay, good. I think she'll. Yeah, there she is. Do you hear me? I hear you.
I hear you.
Excellent.
Are we communicating? Ground control to Major Tom.
Yeah, right. Here we are. There, ladies and gentlemen, here she is. Tara Dublin Rocks. TaraDublinRocks.com, writer of the great selling book. It's best if you bought it. The Sound of Settling. There it is. I'm Vanna Whiting the book.
Am I coming in clear? Because
You're getting clearer by the second. It takes a minute. There you go. It takes a minute. Right. You get. I don't know why, but Portland's internet is very pixelated. I think it's because you guys run the internet through patchouli on its way out of town, and
it's all the kombucha in.
That's what it is.
In the well
yeah,
water.
It's a giant living mushroom.
You know, so.
Hold on, you're a little.
No, we're not in the path of the eclipse.
Right.
And it's cloudy here, of course, and also.
Right. Thanks, Joe Biden.
Yeah, and also somebody from Portland won the $1 billion Powerball. Not me.
Well,
I know.
They should give you some though.
Fix all the potholes. I don't know.
I think they're gonna move. That's going to be my guess.
So I have my eclipse glasses ready, so I don't get raptured.
Mm.
I'm not.
I have mine too.
Worried about it.
Yeah. Just in case it rolls by. Yeah, I'm covered. I'm like,
figured.
I'm like, if it's, because I'm worried about it sneaking up on me. The eclipse would be like, it just like, print, like, what?
On the shoulder, shit. Be like, Jeebus is here for you. So I figure if we're all going to space, I want to finally meet up with Bowie because I didn't get to meet him on this plane. But maybe if we're getting raptured, he's waiting for us somewhere else. Like the cool kids get to go somewhere else. I'm not particularly worried, although there are sitting members of Congress who are concerned that this is something to do with God, with the eclipse, and that there was an earthquake in New York, and also it's Rex Manning Day, so it's all a confluence of just evil.
The Rex Manning Day.
You not know about Rex Manning Day?
No, I don't know.
It's from the movie Empire Records.
Oh,
so that is required viewing for Gen X.
No, I understand. I'm
disappointed that you don't know about it.
No. I know about Empire Records. I just didn't know if there was another Rex Manning that I'm not aware of in, because these days with the names like David Pecker and Andrew Calamari and stuff like that, like there's so many ride-alongs. Yeah. The one
through Rex Manning was played by Dreamy Dreamboat Maxwell Caulfield in the movie Empire Records. And if you haven't ever seen the movie Empire Records, there is no better day than Rex Manning Day, which is today. to watch Empire Records, and you'll recognize some actors in the cast who have
Oh
gone
yeah.
on to bigger and better things. And if you follow Ethan Embry at all, he delights in celebrating Rex Manning Day on Twitter. He's essential to that plot point in Empire Records and all of the other plot points in Empire Records. And Renee
Right.
Zellweger is in it, and it's such a great, and Liv Tyler, and it's like such a 90s moment.
Yes.
So and nothing is having a moment right now quite like the 90s. So get into it. Embrace your Rex Manning Day and enjoy. By the way, I pulled out my back trying to put this chair together. I got a chair.
Oh, it's lovely.
This chair. Thank you. It's heavy. It feels like it weighs more than I do. And I pulled out my back.
Oh no.
I made a video, but I'm so old that I pulled out my back putting together a chair so I would have better back support.
The irony.
So, but I'm not on paid meds at the moment. I wanted to come to you with a clear head. But
there's a van in Portland that comes by and distributes them, right? Whether you have pain or not. Yeah.
Well, true. Yeah, they just give out Narcos like Pez out here.
Yeah.
But truthfully,
nice,
my son's girlfriend is a nurse, and she gave me some Flexeril after brunch the other day. So that's a very Portland thing. We went to brunch, and then she gave me she gave me muscle relaxants. I'm not on them right now, but I will tell you, yesterday I saw like 9% of all of the things I put on the TV. Because I was floating in and out and I figured I'd feel better by today, but she's delicate. She's delicate.
Understood.
Kitty, there goes cat.
Yeah.
Anyway, Trump is a fraud, you say? Trump is lying about money and where it comes from and who has it and where he's getting it from and how much he doesn't actually have. You're kidding, right?
Well, in this,
how can you even be shocked that he has another scam?
I'll tell you what. This isn't. I'll tell you the thing that bugged me about this one was that it's not yet another scam. It's a scam that should have been pointed to years ago. That would have been singularly disqualifying before any of this stuff came out. Literally, if someone had gone after this shit, just the way they're going after it in New York, they're going after him now. If they'd have gone after him on this shit in 2010. Knowing full well what the fuck he was up to. The only reason they didn't, probably, more than likely, was because of The Apprentice being on, and they're like, he's famous, and it'll be kind of a pain in the ass, and NBC will be all mad, and blah, blah, blah.
I mean, that's such a dumb reason not to prosecute somebody for breaking the law. I agree.
Yeah.
You know? Who gives a shit who he is and what TV show he's on?
I concur.
I mean, other celebrities have been arrested. A major high profile, like Martha Stewart, went away for a little bit. So
I know. Right.
And so and if no one is above the law, it's, here's the thing. He somehow the Teflon Don image has really been a thing for him his whole life. Like nothing truly has stuck to him. And so one of those things about a true narcissist, which he is, and someone who's a true narcissist has to make everyone as miserable as he is all around them and blah, 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 blah. That thing about the narcissism is that from the smallest thing to the largest thing, they will dig in and make sure that everybody knows it's not their fault and they shouldn't be held accountable, and they kick up a bigger fuss and maybe even Streisand affect themselves a little bit at the same time. And maybe it should actually be called the Trump effect. But what it does is it's the whole point of what he does and like delaying trials and doing this, that, and the other thing. It's to exhaust the other people. So they just give in because it's not worth it to push back against it because they know he'll just continue to keep moving the goalposts, and it's exhausting for them. He has endless time, he believes, to do these things, and he'll create delays and he'll create reasons for people to be like, all right, fine, we won't sue you because you're going to countersue us and we just don't have the energy. Well, you know what? You who has the energy is Letitia James. Right. You know who has the energy is Fonnie Willis. You know who has the energy is Alvin Bragg and Judge Merchan, and they have the energy. So,
well, for a long time, Donald Trump, the stuff he was doing that's like this, he was, in his opinion, whether it's true or not, and largely it could be. If you've seen the Jinx, right? The Robert Durst.
Not all of it, but I know what you're talking about.
All right, yeah, super fucking crazy. And I have to say, not particularly good as documentaries go, quality-wise. It's got a couple of... Summer and I watched it, and we were like, it's hanging on some of these images a little long. It seems like you're trying to pad the fucking thing. But ultimately, what was amazing about it was not the investigation so much. I mean, they definitely found something that was amazing. And one of his relatives finds a letter that he wrote to the woman that was shot in the back of the head in L.A., and he writes, his handwriting on that letter is exactly like this weird note he left for the cops that said there was a cadaver at this address, and he wrote Beverly the same way, and he admits it's his handwriting on the other letter, and it's a fucking 1-to-1. It's the dumbest. And he goes to the bathroom with his mic on and basically goes, well, he got you, killed them all. Like, he says it out loud.
Right, I remember that.
Okay, so Durst...
he incriminated himself.
Right, the Durst family, the theory is, and what's put forward in the movie All Good Things, with the Ryan Gosling movie, which is about that, super fucking weird. But they make a point in that movie that his dad, that Seymour Durst knew about it, and that the body of his wife that disappeared was in the trunk of his car, and he left it at his dad's property and just said, fuck you, and walked away. And his dad, because they're super rich and all this kind of stuff, they put her in the foundation of a building and got rid of her somehow, and it'll be unsolved forever because of that.
You mean like burying somebody with some documents, maybe at a golf course? I don't know.
Yeah, like that. Yeah. Although
maybe
you can't have an exhumation in the foundation of a skyscraper. So, and
but you can on a golf course.
Oh yeah, you can. So, anyways, the Durst family.
You really, really should.
The Durst family owns a lot of big property. They're really actually billionaires, and at the time they were multimillionaires. And there's a picture of Douglas Durst, who's the younger brother who ended up taking over the company, on the cover of like Time. It wasn't Time. It was like New York Magazine or something. And Trump, it's like the 5 big builders in New York. And Trump is in the back. He's the fucking redheaded stepchild of the whole thing. There's like 4 billionaires and this dickhead. And they all know it. The guy in front is Douglas Durst, right? And that's the guy. They run, the Durst company, as far as I know, still runs the Freedom Tower. They have the contract on the Freedom Tower to organize and run it. And the idea is that they were, his crimes aren't their crimes. Nobody's proved that the rest of the family had any involvement in it. Just as soon as it all happened, they just stiff-armed the fuck out of him because he's crazy. That said, Trump and Robert Durst have a lot more in common, both emotionally and their connection, because neither of them knew fuck all about the business. They were just kind of like barnacles on the fucking whale that that the parents had built.
Right.
And Trump in his, I'm sure Durst and all these other groups were engaged in this guy. If you have cement in your buildings, you're mobbed up, because the mob controlled cement in New York forever, right? That was the thing. Right. Like, you needed cement, you got it. Most guys got away with it. You got away from it by doing steel buildings and just a concrete foundation. So you're in with the mob and their bullshit as little as possible, and they can only fuck with you during the period you're building the foundation. Mm-hmm. Anybody know what's different about Trump Tower? It's the largest concrete building built in since, I guess, 1930 in New York. It's almost all cement. It's glass and cement.
That's crazy.
Yeah, everybody else was running from these motherfuckers, and Donald Trump built the biggest cement building that was being made at the time.
He is such a wannabe,
Eric fucking says, pouring cement, which is like a fucking dinner bell to the mob. That's what you're saying. I'm in with these guys. I pour cement. It's like fucking mob code.
Yeah, for sure. They run fucking everything. And you get to decide how long and how deeply you want to be in bed with them.
Right.
So
nobody gets away scot-free, but they definitely, there were people who were like, Trump didn't seem to have a fucking problem with any of it. It's one thing to be like, oh, fuck, man, can't get anything done.
Like them. Because their whole world is built on respect. Mm-hmm. And you got to respect the guy above you. You got to respect the Don. You got to respect the code of whatever. Right. That code of
silence.
Omerta and silence around them. And those are things that you heard him say that he wanted from his cabinet, his loyalists, his voters, that same kind of loyalty and respect and all of that. He picked that up from them because he didn't get it in his own. Everything is traced back to his, his childhood and his parent
issues,
like it didn't matter, and all of it. He's got both daddy issues and mommy issues, and we're paying the price, right? We're the result. He's been a lifelong hate fuck from the guy because he's exhausted from carrying around all of these chips on his padded suit shoulders.
Right.
And everyone else is to blame, right? And he wants all of these mobsters to think he's as cool as they are, and they think he's a fucking joke. But it's that useful idiot where it's like, well, we're going to build a building and then eventually it's going to be ours.
Right.
So that, he's like a bag man for them essentially. Right. So it's not, he doesn't have a role where he's respected. Not really. He's just another, he's another soldier, just like anybody. Watch The Sopranos. Like he's not high level as much as he wants to be seen as high level, Right. So eventually, I don't think he's going to end up like a typical mob. Like if someone disappoints the boss or whatever, I think that it's going to, he's going to keel over on his way either to or from court. I think is going to be, well, we also discussed dying on the golden toilet, but all of this, this bravado around all of this, it's all gleaned from the mob. And the mob, you never speak against the family and you never show any weakness and all of that. That's his ethics code. Right. If he even has one, right? And it's not even his own. So, and he's so running out of time. I mean, a week from today, his first criminal trial is starting and there's nothing he can do about it.
Nope.
Seriously. And but he is sending out the dog whistles, like anything that's going to stick. And like today, was it today that he sent out the things on Truth Social? Unless someone steps in, this is what's going to happen.
Right.
What's going to happen? What's going to happen, Donnie DeLay?
What's going to happen? Yeah.
Who's going to step in for you? Literally no one. Literally no one, because the minute, no one's going to accept your issues with the judge. And by the way, even if he somehow got this judge removed, it's like, cut off one head, the same head is going to grow back and you're going to have a problem with that judge. And you're going to call that judge a Trump hater and you're going to sick your mob on that judge and his family. And this is his bullying delay tactics and wanting intimidation to do 99% of the heavy lifting for him.
Right.
So, and if someone else does something, he didn't do it. It's like the whole January 6th all over again. I didn't say hang Mike Pence, but I also didn't say don't hang Mike Pence. Right. So it's all the same. It's the same mentality. And he's a scared, caged animal right now. What's he going to do?
It's fascinating to me. Like
What's up, Duke? Here's Duke.
How's it going,
Duke? You want to be on the show?
You like music, Duke?
Duke likes to eat.
Duke of oil. Duke of oil.
What a ham. What a ham you are. He's a big, giant, ridiculous baby.
I can't. Every time your cat comes up, I cannot help but think of the Man with Two Brains, where he's looking for a body for the brain of the woman he's fallen in love with, and he's going to kill the hooker and take her body, whatever. And and her voice is so annoying he can't do it because it'll he can't imagine the woman he loves having that voice, and he's like, but she's perfect. Like at one point he goes, let me see what you got. And she goes, Fua, and opens her coat. And he goes, Mama, which is one of my favorite Steve Martin moments ever.
Have you seen the Steve Martin documentary yet?
Yes, I have. Yes, I have.
Oh, it's so good.
It is great.
So good.
Yeah. It's so nice to have. Yeah, it's so nice to, the idea where he draws his kid in pencil, is so fucking lovely. Like that's the best thing about it.
He protects his child, and that he didn't even use the word daughter very much, or he kept saying child, and he was really careful.
It's a girl.
Pronouns.
Right.
It is a girl, but he did not say how old she is now.
Right.
Nothing. And I loved that protection for her because he truly, I mean, that's like his whole life now, late in life. I think he recognizes, a lot of that was about the second half, particularly was, about facing his mortality and Martin Short both of them making death jokes constantly.
Sure.
So I think he's quite aware that unlike most fathers, he's got a limited amount of time with his daughter because of their age. And so I found it all that whole part fascinating and really beautiful. And plus just I'm a nerd for anything that gives you the backstage,
Sure.
that info, like what do you have for breakfast? How do you live your life? How do you treat the
Right.
people who are in your immediate circle?
Yeah,
That's
that's
why I
kind of
always like
key.
going to the sound check. Sound checks are always really interesting to watch because
Yeah. You see how they treat the
how the
crew.
band, right? How they treat the crew, how they treat the people at the venue, how they might treat the
Yeah.
DJ from the radio station who's there to hang out for whatever reason,
Yep.
for how they just treat each other in the moment. And the stories that I've got, like just from that, is just, and that's when people show their true selves, when the camera's not on them, is to me the
Agreed.
most, or when it is, but they forget and they're just really being real.
Yeah.
Like when I'm just hanging out here with the cat.
It made me
I'm not interested.
Yeah. It made me dislike Seinfeld at points because he kind of does the interview with him. They're like talking either for his podcast or becomes the de facto interviewer. Like they bring him over to kind of have a conversation about comedy, and that was going to be part of it, and they cut pieces of it down. I would have much rather had Martin Short ask him, since they were together all the time, and it wouldn't have been hard, but they just kind of fly this in as a weird thing. And I'm like, I know he does comedians in cars and he talks.
Yeah. I didn't think that was necessary. And I mean, I kind of liked, if you've watched the Albert Brooks documentary on HBO, I kind of like the way they did that, where he's having this conversation with Rob Reiner, but that's not the focus of it.
Right.
It's like an interstitial to kind of just, and then a few years later. So, which, by the way, my only little bit of an issue with the Albert Brooks documentary is that there's no mention of Private Benjamin, which is a favorite film of mine.
Mm-hmm.
I love that movie, and if you haven't seen that movie, it's endlessly quotable, although some of it politically incorrect now. But there's this moment where like she's marching in the rain and she's like, I want to wear my sandals. I want to go out to lunch.
Right.
I want to be normal again.
Right.
And that's something that my mother and I endlessly quote to each other. Right. Anyway, was your Gen X moment in the middle of everything.
No, I'm for it. So, and as a my Aunt Susan, rest her soul, got me Steve Martin, A Wild and Crazy Guy when I was 10 years old.
I was far too young when I heard my first Steve Martin stand-up.
Grandpa bought
a rubber.
Right, yeah.
A rubber what?
Yeah, right. My mom,
I didn't understand.
My mom was a nurse that worked at a urologist's office. I got all the jokes.
At age 9, when they gave me A Wild and Crazy Guy, I was not prepared. I just was not. My friends were, though, at the sleepover, and a lot of them were. Well, I think because a lot of them had older brothers and sisters, and I didn't, and so they were introduced to that sort of salty language. Even though I did grow up in New Jersey, and one of the first words I probably said was "fuck" because I had older kids on my block.
Yeah,
I didn't understand a lot of the sexual references.
Well, yeah, I mean, it makes sense.
I didn't. But the rest of it, I loved the Ramblin' Guy and the great and the Cruel. I think I read Cruel Shoes far too young as well.
Okay, but so that goes to one of the things that's kind of addressed in that's not addressed in this, but you can tell by the track, is how much Steve Martin for a very long time wanted to be Woody Allen. That whatever Woody Allen did, Steve did it next, and so. Woody Allen wrote for your Show of Shows. Steve ends up on the Smothers Brothers. Woody Allen starts making wacky comedies like Sleeper and all those, and All You Want to Know About Sex, We're Afraid to Ask. Steve Martin starts doing, they form the Aspen Comedy, like the Aspen Film Society, so that he and Carl Reiner and everybody can buy a house in Aspen. That was their goal. So they called it the Aspen Film Society.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. And so they make, Wild and Crazy Guy and Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid and The Jerk and all those movies.
I love Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid.
Yeah, and then Woody Allen puts out a book, Without Feathers, which was his book of shorts, which is terrific. But Steve Martin puts out Cruel Shoes the very next year, right? And if you look at the covers, they're identical.
It's wild.
Yeah, it's super weird. And
Crazy Guy.
Yes, it is. And then Woody starts making serious movies with Manhattan, moving into the direction of Hannah and Her Sisters. Steve does, kind of rushes to it with Pennies from Heaven, and then kind of dances around it in that if Woody Allen's doing sort of like jazz art. Steve is doing Shakespeare, so he does Cyrano with
Right, so
Roxanne.
Roxanne, which I love also.
And
That's
L.A. Story,
movie.
which originally, he wrote that for Victoria Tennant, his wife at the time, and
right.
and
that's
he wrote
a great movie too.
Yeah, he wrote Roxanne for her, and then they wouldn't take her. They wanted somebody younger and more famous or whatever, and it worked. It was a hit, and you can't argue with success. So he effectively wrote L.A. Story just for her, and she's great in it. They're both terrific in it.
Yes.
Especially the part where she's playing the tuba in her room, and he walks up to the door, and he's like, he's hearing the tuba, and you just hear, and he goes, dunk, dunk, dunk. She rushes to the door and goes, hello? Were you just playing the tuba? I was. I mean, I did before. I'm not now, but can you hang on a second? She shuts the door, and you just hear, home. She had to finish shaving a haircut. It's just such a great, I shouldn't be going out. Why? Well, I've been going out a lot lately, and I just, you feel like you're going out too much. Okay. It's just so L.A.
Favorite. I love that movie. My favorite, Steve. I mean, I love Parenthood, but I mean, Dirty Rotten Scoundrels is my family, like my mom and I and my sons. We've all watched it together over and over, and it's just Ruprecht.
Yeah.
Ruprecht.
Why does he have a cork on his fork? And he sticks himself right like.
May I use the bathroom?
Through.
Every endlessly quotable, perfect movie. And when we talk about living in the garbage fire, the way to find joy is to go back and revisit Steve Martin's 90s movies, especially.
I have to say, like, I love L.A. Story, and I find it beautifully heartbreaking. There's some great jokes in it. There's some wonderful stuff in it, but the Enya soundtrack mixed with his like real love for this woman that's playing opposite him, and this kind of he's a bit of a doom and gloomer as a person, always has been.
Yeah.
Right. That it's like it gets the point where he stops her plane. He's the weatherman. It's basically The Tempest. He wrote The Tempest as a comedy in the same way that he wrote Cyrano de Bergerac and Roxanne. Yeah. Right. He took The Tempest and reclaimed it as a weatherman. He's in charge of the weather. So he accidentally, just by force of will, makes her plane stop, and even says so. If I had the ability, I would stop. I would change the wind and change the directions and make compasses not work so your plane couldn't take off. And he does. And then she shows up in the rain, and with it's just her and her tuba.
It's so beautiful.
It's great. I just got goosebumps just even mentioning it. So that soundtrack is one of those soundtracks that just immediately takes me back. And then I listen to that, and then I have to start listening to like Tori Amos B-sides, and then it's 1992 all over again.
Right. I mean, and then if you think about it, the early to, I would say most of the 90s were a glory time for soundtracks.
Yeah.
Because people were, when we still bought CDs, and like I remember seeing Austin Powers, and then as soon as we left the movie theater, we went to the HMV next door and bought the soundtrack on the CD, because putting together a soundtrack was a major part of a lot of those pop culture moments of the 90s, like Reality Bites. That soundtrack is fantastic. One of the best soundtracks ever. The soundtrack to Singles is, I mean, really set the tone for soundtracks for the 90s. So every time you say a sound, like the 90s were like the last, maybe in the early 2000s, really before the internet took off as it did.
Usually like single hits.
Essential.
In the 2000s, there'd be like one hit. Late 90s, early 2000s, it was like, you'd have one Aerosmith song and that was the whole thing. But there were like entire soundtracks that were like either linked albums or really well put together in the 90s. It was just like they were just coming up to speed in that. Let me show you something real quick. I think I have it.
Ooh, memorabilia. Yeah.
Because somebody was saying...
Hi, everybody. How are you? You doing well?
Somebody was saying...
having a great day.
Somebody was saying how nice Martin Short is. And I just found this the other day. I just want to... This is...
oh my God, what is that?
That's it's from the Martin Short Show. They gave me a robe.
Oh, that's nice.
When I was on the Martin Short Show.
You were on the Martin Short Show. Say that 10 times fast.
I know. The Martin Short Show.
Good for you.
And he came into my room in a bathrobe, and I nearly saw his junk several times because I think he was fucking
Wow. Okay then.
with me. Yeah, I think he was messing with me.
No
I
one
think that was.
Oh,
I think like
great. Just a
he was
little.
hilarious and lovely. So don't get me wrong. There were no lines crossed. I think he was. I think it was. How are you? Like he was being very glick about the whole thing, and it was really funny.
Okay. I'll
Good,
allow it.
good dude all around. And I also got to go backstage and see him at his Jiminy Glick show in New York when he was doing that.
fun.
You know, when he did his show, and then he did the Glick part of it where he would interview somebody or whatever. It was great. So I mean, just
all right.
such.
Now the eclipse is about to go into effect.
I'm holding on.
Here
Hold
in
on.
Portland. So
Hold
if
on.
I suddenly disappear, I'll catch you on the other side, I guess.
Right. That's
and it's supposed to last an hour and 45 minutes. So I have an hour and 45 minutes to be pulverized and beamed up. So it might not happen right away.
I asked this morning. I was like, is there like a Santa tracker for the rapture? You know what I mean? Where we're like you're just seeing Christians like like across the area, they're being sucked up.
I'm sorry, we're gonna have cat ass on
cat ass eclipse. Cat ass. That's an
eclipse.
Now talk about an eclipse.
Well, I'm absolutely fine with
thank you.
The Christian members of Congress being raptured, because if you're a member of Congress and you're tweeting about
no, they will be left behind.
It's God sending a message.
Stop. Those Christians will be left behind. That's the whole point of the tale of the tribulation, was that the pious but full of shit will be left to go through hell with the sinners just like them, and they'll have an opportunity maybe to make good on their promise later, because they did indeed accept Jesus Christ their Lord and personal Savior at some point and were baptized.
Marjorie out of Congress.
Marjorie is
Marjorie behind
bars.
What
that's
book
different.
of Revelation is that?
No, the Georgia voters are in charge of that, because I'm sorry, she's not.
Can you hear the sirens going off in the background here in Portland?
No.
Okay, good. That's just literally as the eclipse is beginning. Right now, first of all, I have leaf blower man, because why would he stop?
Rapture alert! Rapture alert! Everyone,
guys, literally
get your edibles and head to the park. Yeah.
Or the roof of your building. I mean, it's cloudy. It's just a weird confluence. I'm sure.
Well, whatever happened
in Portland.
Obviously, the rapture is happening because our signal has gotten better and we can now see you better, which is lovely.
That's wonderful.
You were pixelated for a little while at one point, and it's much better now. So I think we've got fewer genuine Christians, on Pornhub or something, eating up all the bandwidth.
Awesome.
They've all just been sucked up into the sky.
Maybe everybody else in the building is raptured. It'll just be me and the cats.
Let me tell you what, obviously after the rapture, I have a business plan, which of course is to open a thrift store.
I have so many Xboxes I can sell you now.
Oh, yeah, totally. All the clothes
Xboxes
racks,
gone.
this is really nice. A little bland, but lots of belts, I've noticed. Lots of pants and belts. Lots of golf shirts.
Shelving made from milk crates.
Yeah.
There's gonna be a lot of that.
All
left
kinds
behind.
of stuff. Yeah, a lot of porch furniture. a lot of couches covered in plastic. A lot of pickup trucks with 3 wheels. Boy, the fucking doilies with the doilies. How many more doilies do I need? All the left behind doilies. There'll be so many dusty Jesus statues sitting on side tables. Yeah. So good. And everyone who bought those $60 Trump Bibles, I mean, hold on extra tight. Right. Because you're going in the other direction. Right. You're not going up. You're not going up there with Sky Daddy. Yeah. If you're holding on to it, it will actually weigh you down and keep you here. If you don't feel like being raptured, buy one of those and just hang on to it. It's like an anchor. Attach a chain to your leg. I've established how little I care for organized religion, but even I know that autographing a Bible is full on blasphemy. Are you the author? I don't think so. No. Your name does not belong scrawled illegibly like an EKG on the holy scriptures. That's not you're not, it's not your. But Tara, don't you understand? Hold on, see if I can open this up 1 second. Oh, where'd you go? Hold on. You got disappeared for a second. Hold on. I know I scared you. I've got to put you in here. It's Marjorie. Marjorie would love for me to disappear so that I won't keep tweeting her admitting she committed treason on camera. I'm gonna put you in here. So, So 1, 2, 3, 4. Blink. It's coming.
Where
it's
am
coming.
I? Hello.
No, Pop. Hold on. There you are. Takes a minute.
Ta-da! This is the first time that Marjorie and I have been in the same proximity since we were both at the University of Georgia at the same time in the early 90s.
Oh, dear God.
Although I know she's a couple of years behind me. Believe it or not, I'm older than she is.
She's a couple of years left behind you.
I'm guessing she never came into the drama department because she would be afraid of getting the gay on her.
Right.
So she would not. But she did go to the University of Georgia, and I will say that she went there strictly to get her MRS degree because she did not need to go to college because she was getting her daddy's business.
What's I'm sorry, MRS, like Master of Racist Sciences, or was she?
Well, that's funny too.
Studying
but no,
eugenics.
You're MRS, so that you come back with a ring on your finger. You're MRS. Get it?
You're Mrs. Right. Gotcha.
So she went, and I'm sure pledged a sorority and did all of that heinous stuff, and found her husband in one of the at a sorority fraternity mixer, is my guess, and not in the drama department.
Right.
Because she probably would have burst into flame if she walked in and saw all of the homosexuals and others in the drama department. But, that's just one of the many things I like to ridicule her about, other than the fact that we have her on camera admitting that she was plotting January 6th before she was sworn into office.
Yeah, I
feel like that should matter.
Yeah, she's apparently right now, she's in her Fuck Georgia. She is the congresswoman from the lovely district of saying the quiet part loud. Listen to this business. Rep. Marjorie Taylor Greene praised Russia while suggesting Speaker Mike Johnson was responsible for a war on Christianity in Ukraine. I just get out the popcorn, ladies and gentlemen. During an appearance on Steve Bannon's War Room. Yeah. Dear.
Of the same cloth.
Oh, yeah. On Monday, Greene was asked about Johnson's plans to provide supplemental funding to Ukraine. By the way, it's going to happen, just so you know. There's actually going to be a component when he finally releases this bill. What I'm hearing will be about taking the frozen assets of the Russian people, stealing them, seizing them, converting them into dollars, and getting them to the Ukrainians, which, by the way, converting them into dollars and putting them there, I don't know what the fuck she's talking about, I guess, because we're not going to give them rubles because they can't spend. Person. Yeah, she's a crazy person. Greene said she planned to meet with Johnson on Friday, but backed out at the last minute. Well, I texted him on Friday and I told him, I would not be speaking to him on Friday and that I had to talk to my district and my constituents first at the town hall tonight. He's talking about, confiscating assets from the Russian people. First of all, oligarchs. We're not talking about the vast majority. There's not running water in the vast majority of Russia, for fuck's sake. Flush toilets, much less we're not seizing their fucking money. Just like he said, that's pretty much illegal. They're having a lot of problems with that, and Europe does not want to do it, and that's where most of those assets are. But let's talk about what this really is, Steve. This is a war on Christianity, she continued. The Ukrainian government is attacking Christians. The Ukrainian government is executing priests. Russia is not doing that. Now, I don't know, I know
shit from.
Well, she's getting it because the Russian Orthodox Church was like, guys in there were like giving away positions of military gear and storage in the bigger cities, and they were actually hiding arms in the Russian Orthodox Church in there early in the war. This is fucking old. And so those guys were arrested because they're not churches. They're fucking outposts of the Russian government, right? But anyways, and they weren't executed. I don't know what the fuck she's talking about, but whatever. Greene then praised Russia because they're not attacking Christianity. As a matter of fact, they seem to be protecting it.
What?
What the ever-loving fuck?
No.
Yeah, I mean, for God's sake.
You paid Russian shill.
Right.
No, that's just some propaganda bullshittery right there.
That's shit, like... That's, again, she entered Congress, and I'm sure you'll recall, as a QAnon, full-on QAnon. And there was this whipsaw moment where she was apparently trying to distance herself from that kind of shit, right? As she tried to, run for Trump's, running mate or whatever she was or some cabinet position she thinks she's going to get or some shit. And that ship has sailed. That's not going to fucking happen. So now she's just going straight back to the fucking QAnon shit, because we're this close to saying there's bioweapons facilities where they make adrenochrome. She's this close. That's
God, she's
a fucking
but
lunatic.
I mean, she also wants to get rid of Mike Johnson,
which again, them backbiting
them as owned as she is. So
right. Well, I mean, like, again, I give a shit. It's not my responsibility to clean up their shit. And ultimately, he's going to pass stuff because if he wants to have a future in Republican politics for real, the Republican Party has to exist. So
well, it's not going to the longer they let Trump be their nominee.
Well, that's exactly it.
They're digging their own graves every day.
He's aware. I think a lot of them are aware that they have to find ways to pretend to kowtow to Trump while still doing the normal shit, or they're just gonna, they're done.
My frustration with this is, and I talked about this with Bob Seska last week. It's the fact that they're normalizing his criminality and excusing it to allow him to continue to be their nominee, which is so abnormal. And the fact that it has been normalized to this point, it's really there has to be a point where the party, like the true, whoever are the non-MAGA Republicans left,
right,
who have any sort of pull, they really need to have a meeting to say, is this where our party is going? Because he's killing us, literally. And this is where I go back to Chris Christie dropped out too soon because, laugh all you want, he's the closest thing they had to a normal, not a fringe weirdo, not anyone who spews conspiracy theories, not anyone who can't answer basic questions, and not someone who backs a 6-week abortion ban either at the state level or federally. That's a handful of things Chris Christie has going for him. I don't care for him. I grew up in New Jersey. I pay attention to what goes on in my former home state. I'm no fan of Governor Otis Bridgegate. But at the same time, he is not sitting in a courtroom a week from today for his first of many criminal trials. How do you back? You want to not believe anything about him. Trump has to begin his trial next Monday in the Stormy Daniels hush money case, and he is going to lose. He does not have the truth on his side. Michael Cohen is testifying. Hope Hicks is testifying. I mean, there has to be a point, like his cult members can stay with him forever, but the people who are high up in the party, when he's installed his own daughter-in-law to make sure that any money coming in goes to him and not any other Republican candidates down ballot, do you want your party to exist or do you want it to implode? Because that's where you're going. So if you're anybody who remains someone who wants to vote Republican, but you're not MAGA, who are you and why are you not speaking up? What are you doing? Because your party really doesn't have a future after this election. So when Donald Trump says there are going to be no more elections, it's more like there's going to be no more Republican Party. Why would you back? He's an adjudicated rapist already. You don't want to believe that. A fraud who caught on tape committing election fraud. You don't want to believe that. Inflated and deflated the values of his property to get away with paying taxes. You don't want to believe that. You want to believe it's all a witch hunt. Eventually you're running out of room to keep pushing that bullshit. You don't even have 5 months. By the end of the Stormy Daniels trial, maybe he's in there for 2 months or whatever. Then you have 5 months? You're really going to wait? You're going to wait until the summer to see what happens? You're fucking shooting yourselves all in the feet. You don't want to have a Republican Party. That's no skin off of our nose, right? If they rapture all of the crazy Christians and we're the ones left, awesome. It's the end of the world. It's not the end of the world as we know it, but we will feel fine. I would say, there has to be a point, like the cult people will be with him to the end. They'll put on the weird sneakers and drink the Kool-Aid and fly off into the heavens with him at like the Heaven's Gate people, whatever. That's fine. Not the true people who care about the future of the party. So I'm not
at this point,
there's no Republican who's beating Joe Biden, not this election cycle, and not in 26 when we have midterms, and not in 28. But if you really, it's astonishing to me that you can sit back. You would not have accepted Mitt Romney as your candidate if he had one arrest on his record in 2012. You would have found someone else, anyone else. Why they're not doing that this late in the game? You really think that Donald Trump isn't going to be convicted in the storm. He fucking did it. He signed those checks to Michael Cohen in the White House.
Yeah.
Stop it. Like, where are you? And why will you not wake up? And why? Like,
because I'll tell you why, Tara, because he is a missile sent by God. And a missile isn't something you cuddle. A missile isn't something you use as a pillow. It's not a couch. It's not a pet. It's got one job.
Exploded the Republican Party.
It's supposed to. Well, the rhinos. It's killing the rhinos on its way to destroying women's rights, and that is what this missile is aimed at. It doesn't have to do anything else. And y'all are like, why isn't it doing this? And why isn't it passing an infrastructure bill? And why isn't it defending our allies? And why isn't it not engaging in criminal fraud? Bill. That's not. Look, a missile doesn't have hobbies. Okay. That's not how shit works. A missile does one thing.
I would
boom goes the women's rights. Boom goes the women's rights. That's how it works. And then we all rapture and we all fly up into the sky buck naked doing this. And God forgives us one last double bird.
Not how it works. Not how it works at all.
Really?
So
I thought it was how it worked. Honestly, I was thinking about it. I was like, that's probably how it works.
If you want to go down the crazy Christian path with Marjorie Taylor Greene and her, did you see that workout video that she posted where there's some sort of like green cloud around her and it's like Jesus or something allegedly protecting her, but everybody said it was her own fart cloud.
Yeah, it's her.
And she's like picking up and dropping these weights, which I don't understand that as an exercise. And then, so she's got Jesus to keep her strong, or what the fuck ever. Like
a green mist around you while you're working out to me says take a shower.
Yeah, like you stay, and then her crazy beta cook boyfriend Brian Glenn posted some other thing about the eclipse, and his eyes are all like,
he looks like a fucking Snapchat filter. It's so weird.
Like he's having some sort of allergic reaction, perhaps to her. I don't know, or the leash that she uses on him choked him out a little too much, so he was all puffy.
Oh, right, I don't really know.
Who knows? But he was like. The rapture's coming. And it's what is wrong with you? And how do you have this much influence over my government? Keep your crazy cult bullshit away from my government, speaker Jesus freak. I mean, all of this, and like Mike Johnson saying that the gun issue in America, it's not guns aren't killing people. It's people who don't have good hearts. It's their hearts that do it. So my heart's hands can reach out with a little gun and start shooting people because I have a good heart. What? Well, you are fucking crazy. I'm tired of all of these excuses for people who kill people with guns. We're not trying to take away your guns. We just don't want you to kill anybody with them.
This is what she's talking about.
That's it.
Yeah, that looks like an odor problem. That's what?
Exercise. Like, what is she? She's like, I can't do it.
Yeah, she's doing
her form is not good.
It's terrible.
I hurt my back unpacking.
This is a CrossFit shit. She's a CrossFit Christian. So there's Christians took over.
CrossFit has denounced her about her terrible form.
Yeah.
Denounced her and wanted nothing to do with her. Oh, now she's walking. Oh no. Now. Oh, what are you doing now? Fart.
That's also weird too. Her weird swinging pull-ups that aren't pull-ups. It's weird. Like
maybe it's sort of it looks like, you know what she looks like? She looks like the scene from Showgirls where she's having the fake orgasm in the pool but without the pool.
Right.
That kind of looks like, or she's having a small seizure when she's doing these things.
Right.
Her form is awful. She does everything way too fast.
Yeah, you're
supposed to really work your muscle groups. It's supposed to be a slow.
Yeah, right. Or at least a reasonable speed. It's pretty terrible. And what she's gonna end up doing. Hold on. This is what you were talking about with this her fucking.
Look at that 5-head. I mean, you could screen Oppenheimer in IMAX on that 5-head.
If I didn't know better, I mean, it might be an allergic reaction to Botox on his forehead that makes his eyes all puffy or something like that. Or this
yourself, weirdo.
This one, I don't know what's happening with that connective tissue there. That's very weird. It might just be his eyes are close together and stuff in his video, so you can never really tell. But he looks like
even when his eyes are open, it looks like that.
It looks like a weird
goo.
Like, don't talk to if you're getting Botox and filler, which I have not done and have no plan on doing because as a silly rubber-faced git for a living, it it makes no sense to me to not be able to move all the muscles in my fucking face. Like
doing that transformation, that Trumpy transformation that
Yeah.
everybody ends up doing. They all eventually Marjorie's going to show up with Alina Habba's face.
I'm
which
proud
is
of
a
the fact,
variation of Ivanka's face.
you know, that I'm proud of the
right.
fact that I have my 3 comedy wrinkles in my forehead, and that I can actually personally recreate the Sledgehammer video live. Hey, you! Oh, what you doing?
You know, I'm gonna be 55 in a couple of weeks, and gravity is real. You know, it's like Tom York says, gravity always wins. So this is what I tell people. I mean, my mom's had some help, and I told her that she's not allowed to get any more help because then she'll end up looking like Joan Rivers and an alien had a baby, and nobody wants that. But he looks awful.
Why would I pay?
Like somebody? He looked like maybe somebody sprayed mace in his eyes before he went on camera.
Maybe that's
and
what
it's not a.
Hey,
like,
we're not here to yuck anybody's yum.
Goes down, dumb fuck.
Right. So. That's the other thing. I don't know. Again, that was my kind of point. Is that that if you're gonna do that, whatever, but let it wear down a little or something. Like stay out of the fucking press for a little while or something. I don't know. Don't post right after because you look like a monster.
For these videos, by the way, who's asking to hear from this guy? Who is?
Yeah.
Is there a demand? Is there a demand to hear from Five-Head Beta here with? What's her? She has a thing for guys who have 5 heads because I mean, you know, Matt Gaetz is her bestie, and I always wonder if she's ever left either of her teenage daughters alone in a room with Matt Gaetz.
Yeah, and if she,
why? And if not, why, Marge? Why would you leave Matt Gaetz alone with one of your daughters? Or have you?
Yeah.
Or are you grooming them? Because she's been parading her older daughter around Mar-a-Lago in one of those, you know.
Oh, dear. Really?
You know, one of those dresses from Wet Seal that looks like it cost $5 and everything's pushed up with the bad self-tanner.
Oh, no.
You know, it's Mar-a-Lago is like Village of the Damned all in one, like around a pool.
Right.
It's all, you know, they all look the same. They're just all of them are inflated.
It's like Stepford Whiners.
It's just awful. Everybody looks miserable, but it's like fake happy.
This is
like he's gonna wish them into the cornfield or something.
Right.
You know, so they're all like fake nice.
Just so people know, by the way, how fucking bananas this shit is, and I think you'll be able to hear this.
I want you guys to have a fantastic weekend, and here's why.
Because this might be our last weekend.
Be the last normal weekend that we have for quite some time. I mean, we've got this solar eclipse on Monday, this very rare solar eclipse. Who knows what the fallout from that will be? Plus,
fallout.
Nothing. It's happening right now.
Yeah.
Nothing is happening.
There's
nothing.
Fallout. It's
not. A little hungry, but other than that, no.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I think my foot itches. No, that's okay. It's just a hair. It's like a string in my shoe that does that sometimes. You're like, what the? Oh, it's fine.
That will be combined with several earthquakes. We've already seen a few already. And why not sprinkle in this infestation of locusts that have been...
It's not locusts.
It's cicadas. And...
are dormant for years. And all of a sudden...
They're always dormant for years. And it's not all of a sudden. And we know exactly when they're happening.
Will attack mankind. So...
Attack mankind.
My God, what does he think?
Why not? Been throwing Joe Biden trying to get into a war with Iran for whatever.
The cicadas hatching. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, the other thing too was that they're trying to get Joe Biden wants to get into a war with Iran for some reason.
Trying to get into a war with Iran for whatever reason he wants to do that. So
first, no, he doesn't. No, he isn't.
No.
And secondly, idea. Even if it was remotely close to true, it would be Iran wants to get in a war with us and our allies for some reason, which they fucking don't, or they just would. They just bombed Pakistan. Believe me, they're not above bombing other countries.
That note, have a great weekend.
He's
I can't take any fear mongering seriously from Mr. Magoo. Who looks like he put Mr. Magoo's head on a stay puft.
Yeah.
Right no, I can't take him seriously. He's dating.
Weird.
He left his wife and children for Marjorie Taylor Greene,
and she left
hers for him. So the mentality is like two people clinging to the last life preserver that fell off of the Trump tent.
Oh God!
Right to keep each other, and the 5-head is really it's all the air there keeping them afloat. So again, grain of salt. And, like, I don't believe for one moment that Trump really raised $50 million in one night at Mar-a-Lago. Fuck you. You raised exactly twice, double what Joe Biden raised in one night. You jealous, petty little bully.
Bullshit.
No, you didn't.
Didn't happen.
No, you did
Nonsense.
not. When the FEC filings come in, we're going to find out it was 1.5 million you raised,
right?
5.2 million, and you raised nothing. You got nothing.
And you loaned that money to your campaign from campaign funds you already had that you claimed as your own, so you could double how much the take was. That won't even be real.
You're gonna lie about everything.
Just
keep lying
bullshit.
About everything, because if you're breathing, you're lying, and it just. People just and the not and just taking everything he says at face value. Here's a hot tip: if a sentence begins with the words "Trump says," everything after that is a lie. And if it's not the original lie, then it's the lie to compound the lie, or it's the lie to repeat the lie so that people accept it as truth. So people are just accepting it as truth, because if you repeat a lie enough, people will start to believe it, which is one of the bases of Russian propaganda that he was taught early on. So. Don't believe Donald Trump. Don't believe anything that comes directly from the puckered anus mouth. Now they're trying to discredit the Reuters news service. All they do is report what happens with no bias. Here's what happened. It's not liberal media. It's not progressive media. It's just reports, just like the Associated Press when they report an event happened. So just shut the fuck up and just come on. And I would take into consideration it's what Rachel Maddow says, which is ignore what they say and watch what they do.
Right.
Well, if you don't have 50 million, what you're going to have to do is file with the FEC, and then they'll have to make it public that you didn't do what you said you did.
Right. Well, that's his biggest problem. That's why they've run it as a family business for so fucking long, is because you don't have to. It's so little you have to show publicly to convince other people that what you're doing is real and all this kind of stuff. Can I show you the? I love how this is fucking green right now, but I want to show you this is hilarious. This is Trump media's price drift.
They are crashing and burning spectacularly.
Oh, that's
spectacularly.
For those at home,
we knew this was coming.
It is so choice.
That bubble just all over your face.
It's so good. And all the people that bought into it, the people who bought into it right fucking away because they were sure it was going to go up like a rocket ship, right? That's all Trump's whole thing.
Show me another way Donald Trump helped you make money.
Downward.
No, he didn't. He just takes. He's a taker. Come on now. How much has he grifted from you since 2015?
It's so
good. Do you
good.
have the sneakers? Do you have the useless Trump bucks? Did you buy the Bible? Do you have the Trump water and the...
Look at this part.
See that cliff?
Yeah,
that is
they're
just
like
a cliff. All you lemmings going over the cliff with
by the way,
red hats following you.
You know what that is, by the way, just in case people are wondering. That's when people finally got around to reading the report that came out on that day, which is This is people like thumbing through. This can't be right. They've got to have some money coming in. Nope.
And then that point is the coyote over the cliff. Like, I'm not really going over the cliff. And then boom.
It's so good. I wonder what the candle.
Coyote over
Do we have the
cliff,
candles on this?
Friend.
Let's see. Oh, the candles on this are fucking terrible. Hold on. Let's go to one day.
Come on. How did you not know?
It's
bad.
just so good.
ETTD, my friends. Everything Trump touches dies. Do you want to go down with him? Why?
Yeah.
Why do you want to? Why do you want to give this man any of your money? He's just going to turn around and maybe give it to his lawyers.
Right.
Maybe. Depends if they win. He only pays his lawyers if they're keeping him out of prison.
Look at this.
So,
it's good.
Oh man.
Look at that.
There's
fucking.
No bringing it back to life.
Look at that fucking candle. Oh shit.
Dead man walking.
Oh God, that's
What's next? What are you gonna do when he loses his first criminal case?
Yeah.
That's my revised question for people is
so
when he's convicted. You're not appealing that one so easily. Appealing a criminal conviction is, that's just he's not gonna.
Here's a great. So pardon me if I'm a little ham-handed with my explanation of the candle situation in this, because I've watched a bunch of these stupid YouTube videos on how to understand this stuff over the last couple of years because of that fucking idiot Johnny Bravo guy whose every video is the world is coming to an end, and he sells a course on this, and I was like, what a fucking idiot. But anyways, the one of the things, see this little candle right here? This is the people buying in, and then this is sort of like the futures of it, like people going, oh, we're gonna buy, we're putting orders in possibly to execute whether they do or not, and that tip up lets you know that this is the pressure from people who own the stock or supporters of the stock who are trying to buy it up. They're trying to keep it elevated, and it doesn't fucking work. Right after that happens, there's a drop in it equal to that top candle. Then there's a bottom candle where like, and then there's these mid ones. Like most of it's like that. Most of it's there's nothing except death and destruction north and south of it. Then there's these double-ended candles all the way down. That's when it's like, that's when somebody is trying to put money in to elevate the stock price so that the pump and dump scheme works. Like, fuck, it's falling too quickly. Buy more shares or put more money into it so it doesn't go away, and then, or try to elevate the price. Buy it for a little more to fake it out, and it doesn't work. It never fucking works. And now it's bouncing around at 36, 33. Jesus Christ.
This is when the Titanic has hit the iceberg.
Right.
It hasn't quite fully sunk, but it's starting to get a little.
Look at this.
You know what? My friends, you know what's a better investment? Literature. Make an investment in literature and a struggling self-published author. And buy my book, The Sound of Settling, a Rock and Roll Love Story, available now at TaraDublinRocks.com. Also, if you have a Kindle, it's free with Kindle Unlimited. And I also, if you don't have Kindle Unlimited, it's like $10 on Kindle. And I do get more royalties from Kindle than from paperback. However, if you happen to live in Portland, Oregon, this fine book will be on the shelves at Powell's within the next 2 weeks.
Yay!
On the small press shelves. And it is my birthday on the 26th. And so my goal is to sell as many books as possible in my birthday month, because I feel like that should be my most successful
that's a good one.
month of sales. Thank you so much. So between now and the 26th, although I would extend my birthday month all the way to the 30th if it meant selling more books, TaraDublinRocks.com. I appreciate it so much. Also, if you sign up for a paid Substack, if you pay for the main price, I'll name a character after you in the sequel. And if you sign up at the $80 level, you can come up with a song title and I'll write a song and put that in the follow-up.
Nice.
Or you could just sign up for the $8 version so you can comment on my Substack, because I don't let unpaid comment, because then anybody could comment, and that's not nice. So it's Tara's birthday month. I'm not asking you to drop any money in my Venmo unless you would like to. You're welcome to do that.
It's a thing.
I'm asking you to buy my book. Buy my book. And then also, here's the other thing. If I tweet about my book and you see me tweeting about my book, if you would just share on your socials, say this is next on my TBR, which stands for to be read. This is next on my TBR list. Even just telling people that you want to read this book is enough to boost the word of mouth, because I'm still going for the traditional publishing deal that fucking James Comer has. James Comer is getting a book deal, motherfuckers. Come on, stop it. So I know no one's going to read it, and he's not going to write it. Right. And the RNC is going to falsely inflate sales and buy them all up and give them out in gift bags with Marjorie's book that nobody read. I wrote this by myself, and talented writers should get a leg up. And I'm just saying, you can do good things in the world. And so for what is this, 2 cups of coffee, it's not gold sneakers, but it'll, make your mind happy, because it's a love story. It's a love story, friends. And helping out a self-published struggling author, that's good karma for you. I'm just saying. That's what I told Bob last week. I'm like, I know things look like shit, but we have reasons to find joy in the world, and we have reasons to keep each other going. Great senses of humor matter. You guys with Sexy Liberal really help, because you help amplify all of the best voices that we've got. And as long as we keep doing that, I feel like eventually it'll reach even bigger voices who will amplify our voices, and that more people will hear how great the economy is doing under Joe Biden, because it is, and how supporting the arts still matters, because it does, and making sure that everybody survives to the end of the day, every day. Things like that. So, and Bob and I talked about 90s music for half of his show, and it was awesome.
It happens,
so go listen to some fun 90s music today. Listen to, or Eclipse related music. Listen to Total Eclipse of the Heart, or Rapture by Blondie. That's
how
that's
about
my earworm.
how about Black by Pearl Jam? I mean, that's one of my
Not
favorite
my
songs.
favorite Pearl Jam song, but
Really?
there is
I love
Black
that
Hole
song.
Sun. No. I think it's from being an alternative radio DJ and having Black on my playlist at least 5 times a week.
Yeah, overplayed. I understand
That one, I don't need to hear Smells Like Teen Spirit literally ever again, although Heart Shaped Box is my favorite Nirvana song. And I would posit that In Utero, superior album to Nevermind. We don't have to get into the weeds of that right now. But there's Black Hole Sun. You can do Black Hole Sun by Soundgarden. That also works. But for me, someone, as soon as they start pushing the Rapture narrative, I'm hearing Blondie. I'm hearing Blondie in my head. And her and
I just have to say that the line in Black, I know someday you'll have a beautiful life. I know you'll be the sun in somebody else's sky. But why
It's so whiny.
can it be?
I don't like it.
Can it be mine? It's a great fucking line.
I know it's that. I don't love that one.
Well,
I'm
apparently,
not really a fan of.
You've never felt that way, and maybe I feel that way far too often. But
maybe I've heard Eddie Vedder whining a little too much.
I don't think that's whining. That's heartbreak.
I like my Pearl Jam a little more rockin'. Like their cover of Last Kiss makes me insane. Makes me insane, truly. I hated having to play it if you've never heard that. But then there are other songs like Breathe. Just Breathe. I love that song because it's not
Even Flow.
Whinier. I don't love Yellow Ledbetter. I don't love that one, but Elderly Woman is a good one. Daughter is fine.
Even
but
Flow,
again, when you
Alive.
That's my
Is that how it goes
for you, my friend?
Those are the words. Yeah.
That's how it goes as far as I'm
freezing. Rests his head on a pillow made of concrete.
On a concrete. That's. I can do a lot of '90s because the middle of my show when I was on 94.7 here in Portland was the 90s at noon.
Sure.
And I would beg my boss. I'm like, we play Pearl Jam and Nirvana and Soundgarden and Chili Peppers to death outside of this hour. Can I never have them in the noon hour? And then he just, no. So, but occasionally.
Starting to understand how you got fired from a Portland radio station at this point. He definitely left open a lot of slots for us to share music that we liked and introduce people to songs that maybe didn't get as much airtime. And I loved my 90s at noon in particular because there are a lot of fun 90s one-hit wonders that live in the alternative genre, but just people don't know about them. So I would much rather talk about music than politics. I understand.
Also, this year is the 20th anniversary of when I got hired here on the radio in Portland, and everybody loves a comeback. And I could not talk about politics and not swear very easily because I did it so well at 94.7. Unfortunately, Odyssey is going through bankruptcy and restructuring, and I would posit I have some ideas to help with that, but
all right,
you don't want to listen to me. So anyway, I miss being on terrestrial radio, and I love the whole live and local aspect of it.
It is great, yeah.
It's
a community. The community aspects of local radio are lost in a lot of ways.
Grew up with that. We were the last generation that grew up with radio introducing us to new music because that's where we found out about new music, and that's where we fell in love with music. And before the internet, we got it. It was from, I heard it on the radio. That was, one of the biggest things, and being on the radio and having that gig, which was my dream gig, come true, and have people tell me that I made their day better because I sounded so happy on the air and all. I took that really seriously. That was a big responsibility. And I would love to. I'd go back tomorrow if they would have me.
Right.
And for whatever reason, they don't have to pay me millions of dollars. I know we talked about what our values are and whatever. And I could demand Oprah-esque millions, not to be on the radio. I take, whatever the industry standard is now. I don't, it's not for me, that would be just getting to live my dream and doing that and hang out with my friends and listen to music with you for a few hours a day. That's my favorite, because if you think back to your teenage bedroom, if you're still not in it, and the pictures of bands and musicians you had on your wall and the music that you listened to, and you and your friends sitting around talking about, first you ended up talking about music, and then you started talking about life stuff. And those are my favorite memories from, I mean, no one really loves being a teenager. Those are my happiest memories though. And college memories, hanging out, listening to music. And that was the whole approach for my show. So if I got to be back on the radio, it'd just be like, let's just hang out, listen to music, and talk about music for a few hours. Who wouldn't love a little break?
I got to tell you, that's what we look forward. That's why you fight for the freedoms that you have here in the United States, and why it's preferable to the authoritarian bullshit that they're trying to force. Because nobody wants to think about their government all the fucking time. That is one of the things that differentiates democracies from. The irony is, most people think because in a democracy you are more involved in your actual government, that you would think about it more. No, ask the Chinese people or the Russian people what it's like to think about your government with every fucking thing you do.
I don't need that life.
Let's see.
Anyway, we're way over. Please buy The Sound of Settling at TaraDublinRocks.com. And if you happen to be on Twitter, tweet to Odyssey and at 947 FM and say, I would listen if you brought Tara back. I mean, I can deliver. Untapped gold mine. Hashtag sign Tara. Hashtag hire Tara. Let's go. I still don't have a job, so let's go. Let's go.
By the way, let's see if we got the. I want to see if we have the.
Slightly cold.
No. Okay,
are you sending me off with the eclipse magic?
I was seeing if the eclipse was in the background of it. Well, the eclipse.
Turn around. Every now and then I get a little bit lonely, and you never come.
Hold on. There we go. We're fine. There it is.
Turn around.
That's what it looks like over Mazatlan right now.
Every now and then I get a little bit terrified. Anyway, when you come here, we're gonna do karaoke together.
Won't you come?
Won't you come? Wash away the rain. Actually, Chris Cornell was the last person I interviewed before I got laid off from 94.7 in 2009. And he was so great. When he had his solo album out, and people were like kind of bagging on his solo album. And I remember asking him, what do you think 1994 Chris Cornell would think about 2009 Chris Cornell? He's like, oh, he'd be into it. And he was really flirty with me, even though my boyfriend at the time was in the room. And it was delightful to have Chris Cornell flirt with me. It was wonderful. He was amazing. Those eyes and his voice and everything else about Chris Cornell.
There it is.
Oh, the stories I could tell in the memoir I would love to write if I had a book deal. Anyway, it's fine.
Me too. I have to write one of those books where like all the women are just known by one letter, but I have to change the letter
to keep their anonymity.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you're friends with a writer, eventually you're going to get written about. Just be aware. Just be aware you're going to end up in somebody's book or somebody else's story.
Oh, I already have.
Do you want to be the villain or the hero in someone else's story?
In real life, always the hero.
That.
Always the hero.
Think about that. Did you ever know that you're my hero? There goes my hero.
Yeah.
Watch him as he goes.
Yeah.
Inspired this book, The Sound of Settling, which you can buy right now at TaraDublinRocks.com.
Lovely. All right, I'm letting you go.
Have
I'll
a
talk
great
to you later.
week, everybody.
Thanks so much.
Bye.
Bye, Tara. Thanks. There she goes, ladies and gentlemen, and it's just you and I in Mazatlan, in Mexico. In this situation, there you go. That's the live feed from the NASA telescope in Mazatlan of the great toenail in the sky, as the natives called it. And this the Mayans would clip their toenails as an offering. They wouldn't clip I would take it back. They wouldn't clip their toenails. What they would do is they would clip the toenails of of people of a neighboring tribe, and then they would preserve those toenails as symbols of the to remember the occasion. And then the rest of the person they would behead and burn and eat in some cases. But yeah, this is probably, there you go. There's the great toenail in the sky. Together we worship the great toenail in the sky, and to it we say, clip, ow, clip, ow, clip, ow. Too close, clip, ow. It's very good. It's raining fish and frogs in Mexico, is it? Yes. Yes, they would all like tribally chew on their toes. Did I have you for a second, Star Gallagher? That was good. There it is. There she blows, ladies and gentlemen. You can't reach your toenails? Well, neither could the Aztec kings. They had other people chew their toenails for them, and then that person was then soiled as a human and had to walk in shame around the village for the next 3 months, and then they were happily beheaded, and after they had their tongue cut out and their entrails sold to a passerby. If they were not able to sell their entrails, they were, it was like this weird version of The Apprentice. They would just kind of slit them and they would pull it out onto a tray and they'd have to sit there and go, would you like some guts? They were like, I'm not really that hungry right now. And they'd be like, somebody please buy these. Just take a little. I'm running a special. Fucking sucks. There it is. It's wonderful. Bring out your dead. Right. The moon is made out of all the missing left socks. You're stone fired. Thank you. Have the airlines crashed in Mexico? Of course they have, because they've lost they don't know which direction they're going. Thanks for showing me. Absolutely. There it is. We're all trying to look at that. Thanks. Don't thank me. Thank NASA. NASA in Torreon, Mexico. NASA. The eclipse fire. There are no birds. The birds are all dead. Killed the birds. You can't look, Boston Brian. You can't look. Don't look. I'm safely looking. This is my view through my glasses. It's wonderful. This is you're seeing what I'm seeing, so it's safe. Just, it's awe-inspiring. It's really, it looks. It may be the eclipse, or it may be someone trying to peek through my curtains. Which, I'm fine with either, I guess. With certain limitations. Yes, thank you, Space Force. AKA Sparks Force. Oh, you want to see my Trump impersonation? There it is. You're not supposed to. Ow! There it is. Thank you. Like Trump is always having to top himself. He can't full on. Look at that. That's something. That's amazing. Ooh. Look at that. Yes, Lord. Yeah. That Trump has to top himself every time. So since he looked at it last time without glasses, this time he's just going to look down at the ground and go, it's beautiful. It's the most beautiful I've ever seen it. It just looks, you have to appreciate it. Yeah. Is Trump raw dogging this? Yeah. All right, stop right there, and I'll bring back the sun. I think, hold on a second. I think we have to have those at this point.
All right. Stop right there, and I'll bring back the sun. This is my sister. You can all have her. I hear she's very good.
It is kind of amazing. It is, yeah, it's great. It's beautiful in its own simplicity. By the way, thanks, Moon, for doing your job. Really appreciate it. The surfers, all moon worshippers, whether they know it or not. He'll watch it in the pool reflection. Mar-a-Lago, doubt it. So, well, I'll leave you guys to find your own way of watching it, and I will see you this afternoon because we are overrun with fucked up video to show you this afternoon, no doubt. And my job between now and then is to avoid looking at any of that shit. Yeah, so wish me luck. Until then, obviously the biggest fear we have is that it will bring about the age of the kidney. Which is what worries us all. So, until then, we'll see you much later. I missed the kidney this time because I had the glasses on. I was totally, oh my God, it's getting closer. Dear God. Did you see that? Was it just me? It was just me, wasn't it? coming.
You're watching Hellspots, Megaworldwide, and we're glad you're along for the ride. Every day hell is here by your side, so please would you like and subscribe? You're watching Hellspots, Megaworldwide, and we're glad you're along for the ride. Every day hell is here by your side, so please would you like and subscribe?
You've worked so hard on these things. You've worked so hard on the kidney. Very special. The kidney has a very special place in the heart. Very special place in the heart. Special. The kidney has a very special place in the heart. It's an incredible thing. Very special. The kidney has a very special place in the heart.
You are watching Hellspots, Megaworldwide, and we're glad you're along for the ride. Every day hell is here by your side, so please would you like and subscribe?
Special. The kidney has a very special place in the heart. It's an incredible thing.
Love you guys.